This is part 3 video on how to crochet a mesh top, how to freehand a mesh top. And in this video we're going to talk about the back part, the neckline and the sleeves. And let's start with the back part. And there's pretty much nothing to talk about, nothing new here, because the approach that you use to make the back part is just the same as for the front part. You have your ruler, place it right here so that you kind of go from this point to this point. Okay, you have this ruler here, and the approach is just the same. You figure out this shape. Okay, so you see that probably here you start from just one square. What that is, if you forgot, just please open the first video, where I explain the method, the approach, and you will see that you've already done that, except for the front part you had this this big sequence of squares, but for the back part you have you have to start from just one square here, and then okay, this line is going to be straight, this line is going to be straight, and here you have those increases, right? So probably you would start from just one square and see, well, in my case I increased every other row, and in your case, if you have a different material, different thread, you probably might wanna make those increases once every 3 rows or once every 4 rows. So in my case, I started from just one square right here, and then I increased every other row until here, and then I started the decreases, except for I've already washed the whole thing, and I have my back part and my front part done and fixed together, and I washed them, and I had just a little bit of stretch right here, so my neckline at the back part went just a little bit deeper, maybe 1 centimeter, but it's gonna happen to you too, because you know, knitted fabric stretches, crochet fabric stretches, and what's gonna happen when we will be going around the neckline, treating the neckline, it will just, you know, get together a little bit, so don't worry about that. So as for the back part, again, figure out this shape, go decrease until you have just one square, figure out the middle part, duplicate this shoulder, make them go together until this line, and then from now here and from this point just go downwards. Okay, turn your work, and with those shoulders fixed together, just go and form your armholes, just like we did for the front part. So I'm not gonna dive deeper into that one, just rewatch the first video, because basically it's duplicating the whole thing from the front part. Now, when my shoulders are done, when I was pretty much at this point, I fixed the shoulders together. How did I do that? I used just a regular single crochet stitch. Some might say, okay, single crochet stitch is too thick for fixing two parts together. Yes, on a thicker material, but since our thread is very, very thin, it's okay to fix two parts with just single crochet stitches, because if you use slip stitch, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be very, very, you know, you have to pay too much attention, and just go ahead and use those single crochet stitches. Now, when you are done with your armholes, the forming of armholes is just the same as on the front part, and you have these guys together, stitched together. You just make sure that you're working on the right length, and for that, once in a while, leave it hanging. I mean, just on a hanger. I don't usually recommend to hang a sweater from a thicker material, from bigger yarn, but for this one I do recommend it because it's not gonna stretch dramatically. But if you, for example, leave it hanging overnight, by the morning you will have those extra 1 or 2 centimeters maybe, and you will figure out how much longer you need to go down. And here it's a little spoiler, I'm using some designs on the bottom. I'm using some designs, so I'm gonna talk about those a little bit later, but this is the part where you can be creative. You can start maybe some chart, or maybe some stripes, or change a color, or whatever you need to do. Okay, now let's talk about the important part here, which are the sleeves. I have this mesh top. I didn't go for sleeves here. I have just this treatment. It's very basic. Those are just single crochet stitches. You just go around the whole thing with the single crochet stitches. However, this part is your underarm, and for those of you who want to freehand a sleeveless mesh top, so right here you just go around the whole thing with single crochet stitches, right? Except for right here, you want reduction here. Why is that? Because if you do not reduce, the fabric will go this way. There you will have those couple of centimeters of extra fabric. So I'm gonna use my kind of a prototype, okay, just to show you the example. So you go around with your single crochet stitches. Single crochet stitches, right? Well, it's not the color appropriate. The color is not appropriate, but I'm just showing you the idea. This is the underarm, the very underarm, the very middle of your shirt, under your arm. And from the very first row, this is what you have to do. Like, find the seam, okay, right here. And you have your stitch on your crochet hook, and you go 1, and then you go 2, which means you already have 3 stitches on your crochet hook. So you have 3 stitches on your crochet hook. Once again, you had 1. This one is the very center stitch that goes from the center, and the third one, and the third one from right here, and you work those as one. And this is how your reduction is made. And then you just go ahead and continue working with your single crochet stitches, just going all the way around your armholes. And again, when you reach this point, you might want to use your stitch marker here. You will reduce 1, 2, 3 of those stitches. You will just work as one, and this is how you will be forming this nice V shape underarm. Okay, no extra fabric and just a little reduction here. Okay, now if you do want to make some sleeves, what should you do? I will show you on my other mesh top that I made. Those are like the sleeves are not very long, but long enough to show the idea. So here's what happens. I will show you just the theory, and then I will be crocheting along with you. So as you see, we had this line right here. You can even see through, because my olive top part right here, right, this line goes just around your armhole. So this was my armhole, and you see the sleeve in your t-shirt or in your shirt, it's not a straight rectangular, it's not a square, it has its shape, and the shape goes like this. Here it goes kind of up, here it goes a little bit down, and the sleeve is being narrowed to this part. What's the technique here? Right under your arm you do a reduction. Again, the amount of decreases depends on your size, on how you want your sleeve to be, but here you will have some reductions, maybe in every row, maybe in every other row, maybe you just do not want to decrease, and you will have that wide sleeve. It depends on you. Also, I marked my armhole line here and here on the back part, and I went with my stitches all the way around, except for until the marker I had double crochet stitches, and here I had extended double crochet stitches. Why is that? Because as human beings we have our shoulder here, okay? For the shoulder we need more volume, more fabric than for the underarm, right? This is how we are built. So for the underarm I have those decreases and just single crochet stitches, which are smaller than the extended double crochet stitches. So I will go around the armhole with double crochet stitches pretty much until here. Again, I decided until where when I saw the mirror. I just figure it out in a mirror. You go to the mirror and measure yourself, okay? And then I switch to double or extended double crochet. Okay, so let's crochet. I've got 3 stitch markers here. What are these? This one is a middle one. It will show me where to start my row, and this is exactly where the side seam is. And these 2 will define where should I switch from double crochet stitches to extended double crochet stitches. So let's see what is going on here. As humans, we are built that way. This is our body. Then we need kind of to cut off extra fabric so that our arm fits in. And then we have a shoulder, which is, bigger than, for example, this part. Okay, and we need more fabric to cover our shoulder. So this is the logic we're following. For the underarm, I will be making a decrease and then use double crochet stitches, which will give me smaller squares. And here I will use extended double crochet stitches, which are taller, and they will give me taller squares. I mean bigger squares, okay? And right now I'm gonna start with a decrease. So I've already fixed my yarn right in the middle, okay? And I chained 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm gonna decrease, and from So here is what's going on. This is a square, this is a triangle, this is a triangle, and I'm going to be building squares above those triangles. But for the reduction, for the decrease, I do a yarn over and go into the upper left part of the square, and see, I kind of have this triangle above this square, and instead of 2 stitches I will have just 1. And when I go around, all the way around, and I will be right here, I will make another stitch here, and instead of these 2 squares I will have just 2 triangles with 1 top. But we will talk about that later. So for right now, chain 2 and yarn over and just keep on building those squares. Okay, right here I just go with double crochet stitches. Right here so every time you see a triangle, you just build a square above the triangle. 1, 2, and go right into here. 1, 2, and you go right into here. So the idea is to go around the entire armhole so that you don't have to be involved in that mess with short rows. I'm not making short rows, I'm simplifying it. So I'm going with just our regular squares all the way around and just play with the size of the stitches. Okay. Okay, I have my marker here and I'm gonna go for extended double crochets from now on. I hope it makes sense. So you just go all the way around. When you meet this stitch marker, you switch from extended double crochets and go with your double crochet stitches, and I will see you right here so that I show you the decrease. I have just a few stitches before I can finalize the decrease. So I chain 2, one square, another square. Okay, and I have this stitch on my crochet hook, and remember what was going on. We had a triangle here, so this was this little triangle and then the squares. So in order to complete that decrease, I just go into that upper point of the triangle. So this is your triangle and this is just the top of the triangle, and without any chains I just go into here. Okay, so this is well, the decrease does look a little bit messy right now, but you see it's because the yarn is too thin, it's just, well, how it's gonna look. But anyway, once again I want another decrease, So I go 1, 2, 3 chains, and this was supposed to be my next square, but I make a triangle above that square. Okay, so I have a triangle, and then I continue with squares, and this is gonna be the reduction in the beginning of the row, and at the end of the row, when I go all the way around from here, I will also be making this decrease. So go ahead and finish this round. Remember that until the stitch marker you go with your double crochet stitches, then all the way until the this marker you go extended double crochet stitches, and then again double crochet stitches, and I will see you right about here. Okay, now I'm almost done with that row. So this was the decrease, it was the triangle. So 1, 2, 3 stitches, 3 chains, and then a single crochet or a double crochet stitch. So now I have my last double crochet stitch, and see, I'm kind of going to skip this one and go into here, no chains. Right here. You see how it does its job creating this curve, not so you don't have that extra fabric hanging here. You have this like curve. You kind of cut the extra fabric out. So you just go ahead and go all the way around as many times as you need. For example, like I said, for the olive shirt, I'm not gonna make the whole sleeve, but here's another trick that I forgot to tell you about. So I went with those reductions here with the decreases probably until here, and here I stopped decreasing because I didn't want my sleeve to be too narrow. So I just went all the way, and at the end here I wanted, you know, a little less fabric, so I switched from crochet hook number 1, which is 1 millimeter, to 0.75 to make this not a reduction, but it's just naturally became a little bit smaller, just to finalize this sleeve. And that's it. So you've got the idea how to reduce for the armhole, you've got the idea how to manage the width of your sleeve, and I'm sure you've got the idea that the most important thing that you do while freehanding something is putting on the stuff, putting on the shirt you're making, and just going to the mirror and see if you are happy with the result. And the last but not least, the neckline, those were just single crochet stitches, but also you can be creative and go, for example, make this part from just double crochet stitches, and then maybe with a double crochet and chain 1. You can be as creative as you want. So here are just single crochet stitches, and they look fine. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, maybe 6 rows. Okay, 6 or 7 or 8, it doesn't really matter. It depends on how you want it. So about a centimeter of treatment. Now the bottom part.
I just decided to do something extra, so I went one row of just double crochet stitches, and then these are treble crochet stitches, chain 2, skipping 2 from the previous row, and then another row, those are double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, definitely skip 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2, 4 double crochets, and so on and so forth. Here those are just fillet stitches we used for the rest of the thing, and then one row of double crochets, and then again 2 rows of fillet mesh, and then again I repeated this one, and then 2 rows of double crochet stitches. Also for the neckline I decided to go for double crochet stitches also, so I have 2 rows of those. And for the sleeves, I mean for the armholes, I also used double crochet stitches. Those could be single crochet stitches, that's just fine, whatever works for you. So that's it, the top is done, the shirt is done. I hope you had fun, and if you still have any questions, please let me know. Bye, have fun crocheting, and hope you have a great day.